Hello students, welcome to NeoTeach. This is Srinivas Brahmoji. Today I am going to cover data types followed by header files. So these two topics I am going to teach in this session. So actually what is data type? The type of the information which is stored into the variable is called as data type. So that's what directly we can say. Specified of the information is called as data types. So while we are working with the programs, like while we are writing the programs, we should keep in our mind like what kind of data we are handling in this program. So such kind of data types we are going to use. So to write such a programs, first we come to know what kind of data types are available in C language. So let me discuss that one. So data types means, as I said, specified of the information is known as data type. Okay. So the data types are classified into three types. Basically the first one is called as fundamental data type or primary data type, also called as primitive data type. So fundamental or primitive or primary, anything is okay. So like three alternative names are there. This is the first category. And second one is called as derived data types. They are also called as secondary data types and non-primitive, means like when we call fundamental data types we can say derived data types, and when we call primary data types we can call secondary data types, and when we call primitive data types then second one is called as non-primitive data types. Like that we can use. And the third one is called as user defined data types. So like all these three I will list out here. First in this session, what type of data types are there and how we can utilize them, that we will discuss in this. So the first one is, as I said, the first one fundamental data types, and the second one is called as like derived data types, and the third one is called as user defined data types, right? So first let me explain and let me list out fundamental data types. So what are they? Fundamental data types are also called as basic data types. So four are there, those I will list out here. The first one is character data type. To hold the character data into the variable, we must be declare that variable with the character. So that is very important, right? So example, I am going to take one variable like character X. Then simply this X can hold some character data like capital A I am storing into this. Okay. So X is a variable of type character, that's it can hold character data. So in this also we have two types. They are like signed and unsigned character. Signed character, unsigned character. Like two types are there. And next we talk about the second one, that is integer. That integer also classified into two types. They are signed integer, unsigned integer. So this signed also further classified into short signed integer and long signed integer, and next type is like short unsigned integer, and the fourth one is long unsigned integer. Especially this one, suppose example I want to take here, like I am taking integer n I am taking. So what is n? N is a variable of type integer. So when we declared that n with the integer keyword, then that became integer data type. So I can hold integer data. See, like n is equals to, I can simply write 5. Okay, so 5 is the integer value I am storing into n. It's compatible. So before handling the data, we must be declared in C language based on that type. So that's what we should learn regarding these data types. And the next one is called as float. That float is especially used to handle the floating point values. Floating point values means like I want to handle some value. Suppose I am taking float, that float some like variable name is a, that is equals to, I can simply write 3.14 like this. Okay, so like float variable can hold that floating point data. So to handle such a pointed values we can use float. and the double is also there. So double is for the same purpose, but the size is more than float. That I can discuss in this next slide. So float having like certain 4 bytes of memory, and if you want like after the decimal point 5 positions or 5 places, then you go for the float. And if you want larger value you want to handle, and after the decimal point if you want 15 positions, then you go for the double. So these are the basic things. So remember this, fundamental data types are very important. They are just character, integer, float and double, these 4. And when we go for this derived data types, why we are saying derived? Because they came from the fundamental. So that's what derived data types came from the fundamental. Why came they? Like see, suppose the first I am taking arrays concept. Array means like arrays are like different: character array, integer array, float array, double array. So that part we will discuss later, because we have a separate chapter regarding that arrays. There I can discuss like what is array and how to create array and how we can work with the array, means how we can write the programs, and some technical logical questions on array I will discuss there. So next, structures also there. For this also a separate chapter is there. I will discuss more about structures there, but I am listing out here like this is derived data type. So structures is there, because structures also depends on the primary, and unions also there. So unions also we have a separate chapter, we will discuss regarding that. So next, pointers. Pointers also like integer pointers, float pointers, character pointers, double pointers, like different kind of pointers are there. We will discuss in that chapter. Just here our main agenda is listing out how many data types are there in C. So that's what I am listing out and giving some brief discussion on this. And next we talk about the user defined data types. They are first, number 1, enum, enumeration. So when you want to create your user defined data type, you go for enum. So by using the enumeration we can create our own data types with our own names. And second one is type def. So by using the type def we are going to give an alternative name for existing. So like alias namings also we provide such. Like that we can create our own names for the existing data types. So like that. So that is also comes under this, and these 2 points also I will discuss with the technical programs in the next coming sessions. And now we will discuss regarding the range and size of data types. So what do you mean by range and size? Just let me give one example here. Suppose we consider one water bottle. So this is say water bottle. This is say some water bottle. Okay. So this water bottle capacity is like 1 liter. 1 liter. 1 liter means 1000 ml. 1000 ml. Okay. So if I say the question like what is the size of this bottle, everyone can reply that 1000 ml or 1 liter bottle. Okay, it's fine. So when I ask the question like what is the range of this bottle, you give a question like what it is, sir, what is the range of that bottle, you will get a question like that. So here that bottle also having a range. What is that range? Discussing some min value and max value. So means how much minimum value we can fit into that bottle, means we can pour it into that bottle, and what is the highest quantity we can pour it into that bottle. So that's we can discuss here. 1 ml water also I can pour it into this bottle, and up to 1000 ml also I can pour it into this bottle, not beyond that. So like that, the minimum content I can fill with the 1 ml, the maximum content I can fill with the 1000 ml. So that's what I can say. The 1 ml is the minimum range, 1000 ml is the maximum range. So like whenever we discuss regarding the min value to max value, then we consider like range of that bottle or something. In the same way, if we declare some variable with any data type, so what is the range, means what is the minimum value we can store into that variable, and what is the maximum value we can store into that variable, and also we discuss what is the capacity, means size of that variable we will list out here. Now, so I will list out like data type, followed by that size of the data type, and followed by that range of that data type I will list out here. So first we will go for the first one, signed character. So when you create a variable with signed character, here it occupies 1 bytes of memory, means the compiler creates 1 byte of memory for that variable internally. So the range is like minus 128 to plus 127. So here also we will get a question like, sir, actually character means A, B, C, like that. So then what is the range of this? So means, see, suppose you taken some variable character some x. So when you take an x, x can hold simply character. That character I am giving capital A, right? So the suppose I am storing capital A into x, because x is nothing but it is a variable. Which type of variable? Character variable. Now this A internally compiler treats its ASCII value. See, 65 is the ASCII value of A, means American Standard Code for Information Interchange. We have like 0 to 255. Okay, in that this 65 will be represented by A, means A represented by 65. Now this 65 is within the range or not? Within this range or not? Yes, this is within the range. So like this we can say A is the within the range of minus 128 to plus 128. We can just easily fit into that variable. Now second one is unsigned character. So there is no sign. Sign in the sense plus or minus. If sign is not there, in the sense from 0 to positive only. So like that we can take 0 to 255. So 128 plus 127 we will get 255, right? Next, when we talk about the integer, that is signed integer, it allocates 2 bytes of memory for that variable, and it supports minimum 32,768 we can fit into that variable, and maximum value 32,767 also we can fit into that variable. And when we talk about the unsigned integer, it also like occupies 2 bytes of memory, and it accepts like minimum value we can store into that variable 0, and the maximum value we can store into that variable 65,535. And when we talk about the next one, the long signed integer, so it having 4 bytes of memory capacity, means size, and it takes like it can store 0 as a minimum value. The maximum value it can store like 4 billions 294 millions 967,295. Such a larger value also we can store into that variable. And when we talk about the long unsigned integer, it also having the 4 bytes, and here the minimum value it takes 2 billions 147 millions 483,648 to 2 billions 147 millions 483,647. Such a value it supports. And when you're working with the float, it allocates 4 bytes of memory for that created variable, and it can store minimum value like minus 3.4 exponent of minus 38. Here it is, exponent means 10. 10 to the power of minus 38 means 1 by 10 power 38. That calculations we can do that. And to maximum value what? 3.4 e in the sense exponent, like e 10, base e is the 10, so 10 power 38. So 10 itself 38 multiply, and that value we can multiply with 3.4. So this completely, this notation is called as scientific notation. Okay, so that much of larger value we can store into that variable. And when we work with the double, means one variable declared with the double, it just allocates 8 bytes of memory, and it accepts the minimum value minus 1.7 exponent of minus 3082 plus 1.7 e to the power of means exponent of plus 308. So such a larger value it accepts. Right. So these are the simple just range and size of data types we should keep in our mind to work with them. So suppose if you want to work with the smaller values, then you can just go for the short integer, means normal integer and of 2 bytes, and you want to work with the larger values, then you go for like larger values. Such a things we can do. And next, long double is also there, 10 bytes, and its value is like minus 3.4 exponent of minus 4932 to 1.4 exponent of means e to the power of 4932. And next, I want to discuss a small topic here, header files. Actually, as we know that C has many standard library functions. Those functions are distributed into like some groups, like divided into groups, that meaning. And those group of functions are preserved in a file is called as header file. Such a header files are named with the distinct names for identification. So those header files are preserved in a system library. So simply we can call the group of functions are called as header files. To insert the header file into the program or source file, just we can use the following syntax. That is just simply here, like we are writing the header file. See, hash include followed by that a specified header file here, header file name. Suppose stdio means standard input and output .h. Okay, so such a header files I am listing here for the example. See, stdio is there for the standard input and output header files, and we have like conio also there, console input and output header file, and math.h is also there. Mathematical related functions all are available in math.h. And finally, string.h is there, means string related, all string handling functions are available in this. So like this, whenever you want to work with them, just you need to means include it into your program by using the hash include like specified header file .h extension. So like this is the simple topic for regarding header files. So I will cover the rest of the concepts in the next video. Just thank you.